Hello and welcome back. I had a number of people reach out after one of my last psychoeducation topics about the wise mind and ask for more information about mindfulness. And I've had so many amazing guests between then and now that I'm just now getting to be able to release this for you all. But I'm really excited about it because I think it's very helpful. And I think people know a lot more about mindfulness these days because we all have access to Google. And I think we also don't know how to get started or don't really know what works for us. So I wanted to just give an example today of a mindfulness psychoeducation that I've done in the past. So for those of you who listen in the car, and I know a number of you do, please keep your eyes open and your feet on the pedals and your hands on the steering wheel and your hands off your phones. Little PSA there. And then if you want to either hit pause and listen later, or you can listen now and kind of go along with it. But then when you get home, have the opportunity to do it in a more relaxing posture. That's great. Something also I wanted to talk about was safety. So some of you have physical reactions and triggers. So if somebody asks you to lie down or to close your eyes, that may not be a space for you that feels safe or relaxing. So if that's the case for you, then sit in a chair, sit on the floor, sit with your back against the wall, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes, somewhat open. I know those of you who are on the podcast are like, I can't see you, Meg, but if you can kind of keep them like half open, that's great. All the way open, whatever is comfortable for you. Again, if you're doing something to be in a reflective space and all you're thinking about is how uncomfortable you are, then it's counterproductive. So whatever makes you feel comfortable. So the first thing I like to have everybody do in some psychoeducation topics is to say, I am whatever your emotion might be, and good is not an emotion. So if you're saying I'm good, that's not an emotion. So I am this emotion and one thing that you're grateful for. And we're going to talk about it a lot throughout this, but making sure that you understand the difference between gratitude and toxic positivity. Because I have had people in the past say that they don't like the idea of a gratitude journal because they feel like that's not helpful and it's not real. Bad things happen, right? And the point of a gratitude journal is to keep all of the good stuff. Well, yes, but it's also, yes, and it's also helpful to have a space that is for the positive and the real positive too. It's not fake. Yeah, I'm genuinely happy about this one thing. And I'm genuinely grateful. I'm really looking forward to this one thing, whatever it might be. So I am joyful that I get to sit and speak with you all today. And I am grateful for the space that I have here as well. I'm also grateful for my family, or I'm grateful for this job that I have. Whatever it is that you have, it can be something. One of the things that I use as an example, one of the times I did this many years ago, was I'm grateful that I have a pretzel bun that I get to eat with dinner tonight. And I know that may make some of you laugh or be like, roll your eyes, but have you ever had a pretzel bun on a cheeseburger? It's amazing. And so that was one of the things. I think it was like a random Wednesday and I was doing this session. I was like, I'm genuinely pumped for it. And I am feeling gratitude of the fact that I have access to this. It's a modest expense, really looking forward to it. Absolutely. So, yes. So mindfulness, just a little more of a definition, is about being in the present moment. Non-judgmentally. You all hear me say, be curious, not judgmental, at least once every podcast and more. So do my students at school. And that's kind of my running joke of like, you've heard me say it before, or somebody will ask a question and about how to interact with a patient or a client. And I'll say, what I would do in that situation is ask more questions versus trying to force upon them what I think that they need to be doing or think that they need to be thinking. Ask more questions. What are your goals? Where do you want to be? You are the master of this conversation. You are the master of the ship and your destiny, and you are the expert in your own life. So it's about, in these situations, self non-judgmentality. Is that a word? Non-judgmentality? I don't know. Judgmentalness? Well, somebody text me and let me know. But it's about recognizing that we're trying to change our relationship to the way that our feelings are coming in for us. not necessarily to change those feelings and emotions. So being in the present moment, I'm here right now. I'm not reflecting on the anxiety that my past choices has caused me. I'm not having anticipatory anxiety or fear based on what I think is possibly coming or what I might know is coming. I'm recognizing that I'm here right now in this moment, and I'm being non-judgmental. I'm being curious, and I'm asking questions, but not judging. I'm being reflective. I'm being less reactive, right? We talk about proactivity, reflection versus reaction. When you react to something, that's not very helpful. We find that to be the case so often. Certainly there are physical and medical emergencies where one must react, but in these situations where you can, where it makes sense and where it's safe, being able to be reflective on the situation versus reactive. Being present in the moment. If you're with other people, being with that person in this conversation, in this moment, in this activity that you're doing together. If it's just you, of course, still recognizing you deserve to take up space. You owe yourself this time. Take this time for yourself. That's important. Making sure that you're here and not somewhere else. So anchoring yourself physically is helpful to bring you back to the present. We talk about grounding techniques. One of the things that I like to do, again, you can do this right now, is to feel physically where you are. And this is very helpful for people who have some trauma history and responses, to be able to know, I can see out my window. It is sunny. It is, let's see, what is it right now? 89 degrees outside. It's not 89 degrees in my house, luckily. But I can feel the fan blowing wind on me. I can feel my feet on the ground. I can feel my tush in my chair. I can feel the back of my chair against my back. I can feel this pen in my hand, whatever it might be. Of course, if you're doing a relaxation activity, maybe you don't have anything in your hand, but whatever it might be that's helping you to physically anchor yourself currently right where you are in the present, in the moment right now. I know that it is whatever day today is. You could be listening to this when it comes out. You could be listening to it a month later, a year later, who knows? So, but I know what day it is, and I'm recognizing that this is the space that I'm going to take up right now. Other grounding techniques, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 things you see, 4 things you smell, 3 things you hear, whatever that might be, and so on for your senses as well. So a number of those. One of the things that we talk about as well, the expression like the monkey mind, like imagine a monkey swinging through the trees, right? Bouncing all over the place. To help calm that monkey mind and kind of help you to practice bringing yourself back into the space where you are able to focus on your thoughts and your feelings, is a body scan. And I'm actually going to go through and do one of those for you at the end of this, but I want to finish talking right now for those of you who are driving or not able to sit and do a body scan. I'll save that for the end, and you can, like I said, you could always pause and come back and do that later, but it's really helpful. Again, that physical piece of being aware of what's going on around you, being inside your body, being present in the moment. Sometimes when we are trying to mindfully recognize some of these emotions, it stirs up a lot of stuff, and that can cause physical responses. So yeah, so the body scan is something that we'll do later with a little progressive muscle relaxation. And then I already talked about gratitude again, and love, not toxic positivity, not ignoring the things that aren't going well, just taking a moment to express gratitude, to recognize. Sometimes it's really easy for us to be like, the whole world has fallen apart around me. And sometimes it really does feel that way. And I want to validate that that's how it feels. And if that's where your reality is, that's where your reality is. It's also helpful for us to recognize some things that can be helpful for us to redirect and get us to a more likely headspace. So we talk about, on a scale of minimizing to overreacting, where do you feel like you are? And that's a very personal thing. I'm not going to tell you you're overreacting. It's the same as telling someone to calm down. I'm not going to tell you you're minimizing. I might be able to recognize that as your therapist. I certainly have in the past had some people tell me, oh, this and this and this and this is going on, but I'm okay because other people have it worse. It's like, no, of course, other people do have it worse. And also that your pain is very real. So it's okay to take up that space as well. Another thing that we talk about is with mindfulness is changing your relationship to pain and suffering and emotions, right? We're not trying to get rid of feelings. We're not trying to change them, though certainly I know some of us would like to. We all would like to feel a certain kind of way when we feel like feeling that certain kind of way, right? But it's our goal here is to change our relationship to pain and how we respond to it. So recognizing it, being mindful, being able to be aware of when that's starting to come in. And I talk to people about kind of like recognizing the ramp up stage, right? So like before we go from 0 to 100, if we're able to be more mindful and recognizing, doing those mood tracker activities that we talk about and being aware of like, oh, I realize when X happens, I start to do these activities. And X happens every day at 2, or X happens every time so-and-so calls me, or whatever it might, whatever your X is. And being able to recognize, maybe we can get to a space where we don't go to that reactionary space. We go to a planned response. This is how I'm going to deal with that emotion and my behavior that is related to that. Making sure that we say pain no longer runs the show. We are in charge of our lives. And a lot of us have had a lot of really awful things or stressful things or not positive, for a blanket statement, things happen to us, but those things aren't going to run our lives anymore. It's that we are in charge. We're going to recognize the pain. We're going to recognize the stress, and we're going to move forward from that with intention. So that's one of the pieces of the mindfulness as well. The other piece that we talk about, kind of like a conveyor belt exercise and observation, you need to kind of observe the emotions, observe the situations. You don't even necessarily have to feel them, but you need to observe it. Feelings are not right. Feelings are not wrong. Feelings are not final. Feelings are just feelings. And I know you can't define a word with a word, but feelings are just feelings. That's all they are. And I know that a lot of times we give too much power and control to our pain and our negativity. Feelings are just feelings. That's all they are. And you can recognize those things. You can even make that your own little mantra. Feelings are not fact. Feelings are not final. Feelings are just feelings. It's what we do with those that can set us on the next path. The problematic situation occurs when we are reacting to those feelings, when we're going through the day without intention, when we're not paying attention to what's happening. That's when we have the problem. So we don't want to foster an angry brain, a fearful brain, a panic, and an anticipatory brain in a negative space. We want to foster the opposite of that, right? So not fostering an angry or fearful brain, recognizing things when they come, recognizing things when they go back out. These are a lot of different things that we talk about. We talk about cognitive distortions and different things that problematic thinking patterns that we have. So that's my little thought on mindfulness. I look forward to hearing from you all on some of your thoughts of how you might be able to better be more aware. Just like I said, recognizing, being in the present moment, grounding yourself, focusing on where it is you'd like to be versus focusing on the judgmental piece of having the feelings at all. So I'm going to move into now the progressive muscle relaxation. So for those of you who are driving, I mean, again, you could still do this if you're driving, and just be really careful and focus. You can always clench your arm muscles while you're driving, but I don't know. I would really recommend you probably wait and do this. You're certainly welcome and to keep listening. Please don't close your eyes. Please keep your hands on your steering wheel, all of that. So again, whatever is comfortable for you, that's the position I'd like for you to get in. So if it's sitting back, if it's lying down, whatever that looks like for you, eyes open, eyes closed, if you're comfortable to do that. The purpose of this, again, is helpful to reducing stress, reducing anxiety, feeling grounded, getting back in touch with your body, feeling that feeling of relaxation, and feeling not dissociative, right? So getting in that comfortable position wherever you feel safe and comfortable. And begin by taking a deep breath. Notice physically feeling the feeling of air filling up your lungs. feeling that sensation and holding your breath for a couple of seconds to whatever you're comfortable. And then slowly release that. Visualize the tension leaving your body. See if you can feel that leaving your body. And we'll do it again. We'll take another breath in. Feel yourself filling up those lungs. Feel what that feels like. Hold your breath for a couple of seconds as appropriate for yourself. And then let it out again. Again, recognize the tension leaving your body. Feel yourself letting that go. And then we'll do it again slower now. We've kind of gotten ourselves into a practice of the deep breathing. Take an even slower, even more intentional deep breath, filling up those lungs, holding the breath, again, only to where you feel appropriate. Then slowly breathe out. Recognize that tension leaving your body. Imagine that. Visualize that being gone. Now we're going to start at your feet. If you prefer, you can start at your head when you're doing this by yourself and not listening to me. But I'm going to start at my feet. I like to work from the bottom and go up. Tense your feet by curling your toes and the arch of your feet. Hold on to that tension and feel your feet. Notice what that tension feels like for 5 seconds. And then release the tension in your feet and recognize that feeling of relaxation, right? So recognizing the feeling of that. Now we're going to move to your lower leg, the calf muscles. Tense those muscles in your calves. Again, recognizing if you have any injuries or things that prevent you from doing this. Hold them tightly. Recognize that tension. Feel where your calf muscles are for 5 seconds. Then releasing the tension from your legs. Recognize that feeling of relaxation. All throughout this time too, by the way, we're doing these deep, nice breaths. Yes. Next, we're going to do upper leg and pelvis. Get a nice tight squeeze, tension there. Squeeze your thighs together. Feel where you are. Again, making sure you're not injuring yourself or having any issue, but making sure that you can feel a nice tightness appropriately. Release. Recognize how that feels. Recognize the feel of the release of the tension and feel the relaxation. Next, we'll go to your stomach. Do that again. Suck your stomach in. Hold it. Squeeze hard. Hold that tension and release the tension. Let yourself kind of go limp if you're lying down. If you're sitting down, of course, you'll keep your posture, but really relax. Feel the relaxation. Do the same thing with your chest. Give that a nice tension. Then we're going to release that. Recognize the feeling of relaxation. Again, really making sure that we're still breathing. Let's actually take a moment now. Breathe in, take a nice deep breath. Hold on to that for a couple of seconds. Let that go. Feel the air heading out. Visualize the tension leaving. Visualize feeling relaxed. Next, we're going to do your back by doing your shoulders together behind you. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, if you need, you can see me. Those of you who don't, just imagine bringing your shoulder blades together and holding them tense. And then let that go as well. Feel yourself, let that go. Feel the feeling of relaxation. Next is your arms. From your hands to your shoulders, you're squeezing your fists all the way up to your arms. And we're going to let that go again. Recognizing how your fingers feel, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Feel your arms, feel it, which is hard for me. I know you all will laugh. Feel how your arms being limp at your sides. I know I talk with my hands too much. My hands are up right now. Recognize that limp feeling and how that feels a nice sense of ease. Next, with your head and neck, get your face and your neck, distort the muscles around your eyes and mouth. Give those a nice tension. And then when you let that go again, once again, we're looking at recognizing the feeling of relaxation. The next thing we're going to do is your whole body. So all of the pieces that we just very mindfully paid attention to and importantly recognized, give it all good tension. Do that as hard as you can, appropriately. We don't want any strained muscles. We don't want any stress, but tension. And then relax and feel your whole body. Visualize that weight coming off, if not actually physically feeling that limpness, that relaxation, and recognizing the difference of relaxation versus the tension. So slowly start moving your muscles again. Those of you lying down, those of you sitting up, you can just kind of move your feet, maybe shake out your legs a little, move out your arms. Then you can take a big stretch and open your eyes if they weren't already open. So that's an example. And there are many other ways of doing a progressive muscle relaxation. Like I said, you can start from the top and work to your toes. You can start from your toes and work your way up. But like I said, I've actually had people specifically request a progressive muscle relaxation. So there you go. So that's the example of that. And again, I want to encourage everybody. It's so easy for us. We live in a very judgmental world. And it's easy for us to have a quick moment where somebody does something and to judge them. And again, set your boundaries, guard your peace, of course. Also, it can be helpful sometimes to be like, oh, I wonder if that person's having a bad day. Like if someone cut you off in traffic or didn't let you in, that's what I try to tell myself. It makes me feel better about the situation. And also, most importantly, is how we talk to ourselves. So making sure that you are not judging yourself, that you are being curious. What is your body trying to tell you? What are these emotions coming to you trying to tell you? How can I change my relationship with pain and emotion and be able to respond to it mindfully, intentionally in my day? I love to hear from all of you. Please give me a holler if there's any other topic that you'd like me to talk about. You know, I'm going to be here every week. So I've got a lot of time and space for you all to have any kind of topics you'd like. I have a number of amazing guests. I have one from across the pond. Very excited about. No more spoilers, but get excited. Coming up soon, and a couple of other people I'm really excited about that I've reached out and asked to be on the show, and they've said yes. So take that as your sign, perhaps today, that if you've been contemplating asking for something, then what's the worst that can happen? Someone says no or doesn't respond. Well, I mean, that sucks, but it's better than not knowing, and you never know, someone might give you a yes. So remember, be curious and not judgmental, and make it a good day.